It's been nearly 30 years since Susan Smith took over nationwide news. But 30 years later, she is back to doing it again. If you have not noticed, all news, crime, long crime, trials, everyone has been talking about Susan Smith. And if you haven't noticed, well, good. I'm going to tell you why. So let's get into it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Susan's upbringing, but just a quick overview of her life. When she was 6 years old, her father died. He took his own life. And at age 13, she tried to do the same. She would also try to do the same a few years after that. Her mom remarried Beverly C. Russell Jr., who ended up SAing Susan, but their relationship as she got older would still continue on with her participating willingly. For instance, everything hit the news in 1994 and she was 23 years old, married with 2 little children, and the last time that they had hooked up was 6 months before this incident. She graduated high school in 1989, and in 1991, she would get married to David Smith. The couple would then soon have Michael Daniel and a second son, Alexander Tyler. The boys in 1994 were 3 years old and 14 months old. Susan had called the police to say that her car was hijacked with her son still inside. For 9 days, she made dramatic pleas on TV and at different radio shows asking for her kids to have a safe return home and that they're looking for them, as well as her husband, who was fully on board trying to spread the word out there and be as supportive to Susan as he could be. With everything building up for this investigation, on November 3rd of the same year, Susan would confess that she let the car roll into a lake and they drowned. I was pretty young when this whole event took place, but I remember very clearly this red car. It's pretty haunting to see them pull it out of the lake and then investigators walking around trying to get what they can, and also knowing that the boys were in there while the mom stood by and did nothing. Now, it was said throughout this time that Susan did have affairs, but one of the driving factors to make her do this to her kids was supposedly she had started a brief relationship with a wealthy man in town, and he ended it with her saying that he didn't want to have children. It's just truly disgusting that this is what she would do. And her husband, David, was absolutely shocked. He had no idea that this was something she could even possibly do. And after giving her so much support and love and out there looking hard for his kids, his world was just shattered. He went on to have different interviews throughout the years, but he is adamant even to this day that she should remain in prison for what she did. But that is exactly why Susan is making headlines right now. She is up for parole on November 20th of this year. So it might not be common knowledge, but when somebody is up for parole, the community, family, friends, they're all able to write the judge talking about if they would like them to please give them the parole, they serve their time, or if they think that person hasn't learned from their mistakes and they would be, bad for society to be released. And in Susan Smith's case, they had been flooded with letters of many, many people saying, do not let her out. Like, astonishing that they were even saying they were overwhelmed with the amount. But then you have family, you have friends. Susan had relationships with several men when she was in jail and even a security guard. And those different males have stepped forward saying that they absolutely believe that she would still be a threat to other people in society because she just doesn't think about other people and she just does what she wants to get what she wants. One of the more unique things about her parole, though, is that the state prosecutors who ended up putting her away are going to be there at the parole hearing to fight to keep her in. They know the case better than anybody, having gone through it the first time, so they are the best advocates for David and other family members to fight to keep her in prison. So, what is your opinion? Should she be able to go up for parole and get approved and go ahead and be out of prison? Or is 30 years not long enough and they need to keep her in there? I am all about people doing their time, getting rehabilitated and put back in society if they are safe. It is pretty alarming now that we know that several relationships that she's had while in prison all still say that she is not safe for society to be around. Specifically, one of the gentlemen said kids. Now, I don't know if that's because they had a bad breakup and he's just saying things, you never really can tell. But I do think it's going to be a hard choice for the judge because all of the letters coming in were all about keeping her in, not saying that she should be free. Leave a comment below and let me know which one you think.